The itinerary for the friendship tours wasn't just your typical tourist hotspots. It was really unusual, going to very interesting places, really getting to the rural areas and meeting truly the real people.
Friendship Tours makes it really easy to go on these trips. Everything's planned for you. You show up with your luggage and a happy smile and off you go.
My favorite part of the trip was going to the Mekong and staying with the family on the Mekong because I got to experience the Vietnamese culture and eat their food. And
I loved how the village was basically on the river. They kind of used the little canals to get around. The market, just everything is out there in baskets, and all the boats were really old and rickety, and it's you wonder why they're not rotting and falling apart. I don't know, it was just really beautiful and really unique.
I also love the markets. That was one of my favorite parts, just walking around seeing all the different cultural things that people are trying to sell you. And there are so many just weird and different people and different food in the markets. You walk past one section and it smells of fish. Walk past the other and you see crabs just sitting on a table. I thought that was really cool.
It's like the US, we have no idea where our food comes from, and at least in Vietnam they know exactly where it comes from, and it's very local.
That's the one thing that surprised me the most, is that the people weren't sad. They were all very happy to meet new people and see Americans and greet us. They were the happiest people I've probably ever met.
I've always sort of been someone who learned better through experience than through straight textbooks. I really had a hard time learning history up until I sort of learned to connect it with real life. And so going to Vietnam, I was able to experience the war more in a way than I could actually through reading a book about it.
My experience at the killing fields was very heart-wrenching. The Cambodian people were being oppressed and murdered by Pol Pot.
And the experience of actually being there and seeing people that were involved in the war and the effects it had on people, then that really hit home for me.
One of the main reasons to take people to places where bad things have happened is so that they make sure history doesn't repeat itself, which is a big thing. And they need to know that there are darker sides of the human existence, and that this is something people need to watch out for to make sure it doesn't happen again.
The most profound experience in Vietnam was probably going to the Friendship Village and seeing all the kids who were affected by Agent Orange. I mean, seeing that opened my eyes to what's really out there and how people aren't really as fortunate as they are here.
Teaching English at the Atlanta School was one of my favorite parts of the trip, definitely just because we could finally give back to them and teach them something as well.
I would definitely tell my kid to get out there and unlearn everything he thought he knew, so that you can really actually get something that you genuinely know. And that authentic knowledge really, I think, comes with experience, and experience you can only have from actually going to these places. So.
I really like taking the photos. Everything was just so beautiful, and it was fun to capture it, and the children there are just so cute and excited about everything, so that was fun to capture also.
That's what I really enjoyed about the trip. It wasn't just oh, let's look at all the sights. We really got to interact with the people there.
It was the most amazing experience of my entire life, no joke. I pretty much thought I was going to be sitting in a corner just by myself, kind of running my journal and stuff, but everybody was so cool, and I love everybody now. We always hang out and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
It was probably the best spring break I've ever had, because it was so different than just hanging out at home playing Xbox or going to Hawaii. It was an incredible experience.
If anyone wants to take the trip, I'd recommend it just because there's so much awesome stuff you get to do. I mean, every day, there's an activity that would be memorable.
And it really just made me think about my life and how I could change what I'm doing to help them. And I really feel so happy that I went on the trip, because I feel I gained a really positive outlook on life, really.